What if I told you that a single book could change the way you think, the way you feel, and the way you live? What if this book could unlock a strength inside you that you never knew existed? The Quran is not just ink on paper. It is a divine force, a message from the Creator himself, meant to reshape your heart and mind. Have you ever felt lost, searching for answers in a world full of noise? Have you ever felt broken, wondering if there's any way to heal? The Quran speaks to those moments. It reaches into the deepest corners of the heart, offering peace when the world offers confusion, offering hope when everything seems lost. And the most incredible part? The Quran doesn't just change minds, it transforms lives. It took a people drowning in ignorance and turned them into the greatest generation. It softened the hardest hearts, uplifted the most shattered souls, and gave purpose to those who had none. But how does the Quran have this power? How does it reshape our thinking and heal our hearts? Stay with me, because today, we're going to uncover the life-changing impact of the Quran and how it can transform your mindset and heart in ways you never imagined. Before Islam, Umar ibn al-Khattab, Ra, was known for his strong will, fierce personality, and deep attachment to the traditions of his people. He was a man of power, someone who did not hesitate to use force to maintain order and uphold the ways of his ancestors. In fact, his hatred for Islam was so intense that he once set out with the intention of killing the Prophet Muhammad believing that Islam was tearing apart the unity of the Quraysh. But Allah had a different plan for him. As he stormed to the streets of Makkah, sword in hand, someone stopped him and told him to check on his own sister first, because she had secretly accepted Islam. Filled with rage, he rushed to her house only to hear the recitation of the Quran from behind the door. The words struck something deep inside him, but his anger blinded him. He burst in, confronted his sister, and in a fit of rage struck her. She fell to the ground, blood trickling from her face. Yet, instead of cowering in fear, she held firm. "You can do what you want, Umar, but we will not turn away from Islam," she said. Her conviction shook him. For the first time, he was forced to question his beliefs. He looked down and saw the pages of the Quran that she had been reading. Still fuming, but now curious, he asked to see them. Bebeki, he refused until he purified himself. He agreed, and then with trembling hands he read, "Taha, we have not sent down to you the Quran that you be distressed, but only as a reminder for those who fear Allah, a revelation from He who created the earth and highest heavens." Surah Taha 21. For the words penetrated his heart like never before. The strength, the beauty, the undeniable truth of the Quran melted away the hatred he had carried for so long. Tears welled up in his eyes, and in that moment, his soul surrendered to the truth. That same man who had once set out to kill the Prophet so became one of Islam's greatest leaders, a man whose heart was softened by the Quran, whose mindset was reshaped by its wisdom, and whose legacy continues to inspire millions. This is the power of the Quran. It transforms even the hardest of hearts. It breaks down the walls of arrogance and replaces them with humility. It turns hatred into love and misguidance into clarity. And just like it changed Umar, Ra, it can change you too, if you open your heart to it. The Quran is not just a book of guidance. It is a transformation tool that rewires the way we think, see the world, and process our experiences. It takes a heart clouded by doubt, fear, and negativity and replaces it with clarity, conviction, and optimism. Think about how we, as human beings, are constantly shaped by the voices around us, society, media, culture, and even our own inner thoughts. These voices influence our self-worth, our relationships, and our ambitions. But when the Quran enters our lives, it silences the noise and replaces it with divine wisdom. It teaches us to see beyond our immediate circumstances, to trust in Allah's plan, and to develop an unwavering sense of patience and gratitude. Take, for example, the concept of hardship. Normally, when life gets tough, people fall into despair, but the Quran shifts this mindset completely. It teaches that every trial is a step toward growth, a test of faith, and a doorway to something better. In Surah Al-Inshirah 94:6, Allah reminds us, "Indeed, with hardship comes ease." This is not just a comforting statement, it is a command to reframe our struggles. Instead of seeing obstacles as setbacks, the believer learns to see them as opportunities. Instead of feeling like a victim, they become stronger, more resilient, and deeply connected to their Creator. Even the way we view success and failure transforms with the Quran. Society measures success by wealth, status, and power, but the Quran teaches that true success isn't taqwa, God consciousness. When you internalize this, you stop chasing temporary validation and instead focus on building a lasting relationship with Allah. Imagine waking up every day knowing that no matter what challenges come your way, you have a direct connection with the creator of the universe, who has already given you the roadmap for success. This is the power of the Quran. It doesn't just give information, it transforms your entire mindset. The Quran is not just a book of knowledge, it is a divine medicine for the human soul. Life is full of pain, betrayal, loss, disappointment, and hardships that weigh heavily on the heart. When we experience heartbreak, we often turn to people, distractions, or temporary solutions to ease the pain. But the reality is, true healing comes only from Allah, and the Quran is the direct source of that healing. Allah tells us in the Quran, "O mankind, there has come to you an instruction from your Lord, and a healing for what is in the hearts, and guidance and mercy for the believers." Surah Yunus 10:57. This verse alone tells us that the Quran is more than just words. It is a cure for the emotional and spiritual wounds we carry. Think about those moments when you feel lost, when the world seems against you, and when your heart is heavy with sorrow. In those times, reciting or listening to the Quran has a way of bringing inner peace. It's as if Allah is speaking directly to you, reminding you that He is always near. Consider the story of Prophet Yahya. He endured one of the greatest heartbreaks in history, the loss of his beloved son Yusuf, as his grief was so overwhelming that he eventually lost his eyesight from weeping. Yet, despite the pain, he turned to Allah with patience and trust. What were his words? "I only complain of my suffering and my grief to Allah." Surah Yusuf 12:86. This is a powerful lesson for us. The Quran teaches us that instead of drowning in sadness, we should direct our pain to Allah, the one who truly understands our hearts. Additionally, modern science confirms what the Quran has already told us. Listening to the recitation of the Quran reduces stress and anxiety. Studies show that it lowers heart rates, calms the nervous system, and even has healing effects on the brain. It's not just a spiritual belief, it's a reality. So if you ever feel like your heart is burdened with sadness, anxiety, or loneliness, turn to the Quran, reflect on its words, and you'll find that no matter how broken you feel, Allah's words will always have the power to mend your heart. At the core of the Quran's transformative power is its ability to strengthen your connection with Allah in a way nothing else can. The Quran isn't just a book of rules or historical accounts. It's a direct message from your Creator, designed to guide, heal, and uplift you. When you engage with it consistently, something remarkable happens. Your perception of the world changes, your priorities shift, and your heart finds tranquility in ways you never thought possible. Think about the moments in life when you feel lost, overwhelmed, or unsure of your purpose. The Quran answers those silent cries of the heart. When you read, "Verily, in the remembrance of Allah do hearts find rest." Surah Al-Ra'd 28. It experienced divine peace. The more you turn to the Quran, the more you realize that every challenge, every heartbreak, and every uncertainty has an answer within its verses. Many people struggle with maintaining a strong connection with Allah, often feeling distant or disconnected. But the Quran provides a clear path back. It reminds you of His mercy, His wisdom, and His presence in your life. When you read verses like, "And we are closer to Him than His jugular vein," Surah Al-Fatihah, you begin to internalize that Allah is always near, always listening, and always guiding. And here's the real transformation. As your heart absorbs the Quran's message, you start living differently. Your prayers become more meaningful, your character becomes refined, and your patience and gratitude increase. The things that used to anger or distress you now seem small in comparison to the vastness of Allah's wisdom. You develop an unshakable trust in Him, and that trust frees you from fear, anxiety, and doubt. This is the ultimate transformation the Quran brings. A heart that finds peace, a mind that finds clarity, and a soul that finds its way back to Allah. And once you experience that, there's no going back. You've unlocked the true purpose of life. Imagine standing at a crossroads. One path is a life you've always known, filled with worries, distractions, and a constant battle between your desires and your faith. The other path is illuminated by the guidance of the Quran, leading to a life of clarity, peace, and a heart that trusts in Allah's plan. Which path will you choose? The Quran isn't just a book. It's an experience, a conversation between you and your Creator. It's not meant to sit on a shelf gathering dust. It's meant to transform you. The words of Allah have the power to change your mindset, heal your heart, and guide your soul. But it starts with you taking that first step. Open the Quran today, even if it's just for a few verses. Reflect on its meanings, Let its wisdom sink into your heart, and most importantly, ached on it? Because the Quran was never meant to be just read. It was meant to be lived. So the question is, will you let the Quran transform you, or will you walk away unchanged? The choice is yours.